In closing today, it is my honor and my privilege to introduce our CEO and President of Livestrong, Greg Lee. Greg.
Thank you, Suzanne. And before I get into points of topics that I want to talk about, I want to take a quick minute to thank Suzanne, Victoria, Brittany, the technology team behind the scenes today that have made this Icon Summit an amazing success. We've literally had participants and speakers and moderators and panelists from all over the country with different kinds of systems and methodologies, and just to pull that off has been an amazing accomplishment. So hats off to you and your team for what has truly been an amazing day. Wow, take a deep breath here for a minute. Not only has today been a full day, but 2020 has been quite the year. Who would have thought that we would need, 10 million of these masks a year ago? Never would have thought that. And our theme, Overcome, is pretty appropriate, and it's not by accident. From economic and political volatility to COVID-19 to remote working conditions and racial and social injustice issues, we have truly had our hands full. But there's been at least one constant that I want to remind you of. And that constant is that cancer continues to kill. It continues to hit individuals, friends, families, loved ones with the same fury it always had. And you see, cancer doesn't care what's going on in the world. It doesn't matter when we're going back to work or whether we're working from home or whether bars or restaurants are open or closed. It simply doesn't care. Yet because of you and your help and support and ideas and solutions, Livestrong continues to be here to help. You see, help starts here. Your ideas, your solutions that we can implement together, they start here. And because of you, we've spent the last year doing some really great things. And in 2020, we have helped and supported more than 218,000 people with their cancer needs and helped save them $7.9 million in medical and healthcare related costs. Our Livestrong at School program has been used by 4,500 teachers around the country to help reach 135,000 students. And our friends at the Livestrong at the YMCA have a fitness program that has helped literally 77,000 people get back up on their feet, with sites of 700 plus or minus around the country, many now converting to virtual activities. And as y'all witnessed with Denise Nugent in the program she offered earlier. Also throughout all of this, we have made sure that the Livestrong Cancer Institutes right here in Austin stayed open to be able to see patients, where we've literally had more than 2,400 patient visits and patient appointments. We also wanted to make sure that the research labs stayed open to find those solutions and ideas and cures for the future. And as Suzanne pointed out, our Solutions Grants program has continued to invest in new solutions. She pointed out, kind of stole a little of my thunder, in that we have had more than 200 organizations reach out in the second wave of applications this year. We already have another cycle of grant funders that are already received their funding earlier this year, and we are excited to see their final reports and chart the progress they've been able to make. Also on the advocacy front, right here in Texas, we advocated on behalf of organizations to help bring another $3 billion to Texas to fund cancer prevention and research activities right here in Texas. And I can't talk about all we've done without talking about the 2020 Icon series. We thought that this would be a way to bring people together to talk about innovation, to have conversations, to have discussions with people from all walks of life around the country. And it's really grown into a virtual force of new ideas and new solutions, all aimed at solving the practical problems that make cancer harder than it has to be. In May, we kicked things off with an Icon Global Conference focused on philanthropic investments and innovation. Miguel Perez talked to us about his experience with cancer. We also heard from him earlier today. He lost both of his brothers to cancer, as well as his sister-in-law. His sister had cancer as well. We heard from Rosie Cunningham, who co-led a discussion about innovative solutions. She's a VP of Strategy at Family Reach. We then had another Icon Midwest from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, that was really focused on caregivers of hospitalized pediatric cancer care patients. We heard from Jen and Marty Hager and their I Know Jack Foundation, where they shared their amazing story of their son Jack and the experiences they've had in and out of cancer treatment over the last decade. We also had experiences at Icon Midwest talking with the CEO of Big Love Cancer, who serves cancer kids and their families in a bunch of different hospitals. And so far this year, they have catered more than 688 meals, fulfilled 838 patient wishes, delivered 400 holiday baskets, and made more than 250 homebound grocery deliveries. And then about 6 weeks ago, we hosted IconEQ. Many of you who were participating in this previous session will understand the topic. And with the unique intersection of the global pandemic and the Black Lives Matter movement, the world has reached a tipping point where racial inequities are no longer acceptable. Simple fact, Black Americans with cancer have the highest death rate and the worst outcomes of any racial or ethnic group. This is simply not right, and it must be changed. And together as a group, we've learned that building trust is vital, that health information has to be communicated and shared in a way that people understand and it's relevant to their topic. We also have to understand and recognize that there's an unconscious prejudice that is hindering our progress. We appreciate those people who have helped us understand better what is going on in this unique area. And how about the amazing lineup of Icon Summit speakers today? Wow, I continue to be floored. And just like Suzanne, I walked away with a litany of notes. And so I'm going to kind of refer to those as I talk through this. But Josh Linkner earlier this morning made sure we remind ourselves that if we fall down 7 times, that's okay, but make sure to pick yourself up that 8th time. Finish on the high note and keep going. His story of Lawson and the practical steps toward what he called big little breakthroughs was really amazing. Mark Garza and the Flatwater Foundation that he represents talked about the mental health stigmas that are faced. And Rosie Cunningham presented some models of financial support. And Andy Andrews talked about finding the little things. And his panel of John and Amber and Miguel, who talked about their personal experiences. And for those of you who had a chance to participate, the Duncan Wardle keynote was amazing on creativity. As a person who uses the logical side of my brain, it was a little stretch for me to be that creative for a full hour, but it showed me really how much more I have to learn. We also heard from Chris Earthman from the Aragona Family Foundation on how to leverage investments and to help nonprofits with their funding that way. And as I mentioned already, we had a program from a Livestrong at the YMCA and Denise Nugent, understanding how that has moved to a little bit more virtual. And then for those of y'all who were just with us, amazing members of this dynamic connections panel, and Tam Hawkins and Letitia Keel and Diane Austin and Sylvia Latana, amazing job in helping us begin to have some deeper understanding of the trustworthy connections that are necessary to help improve and restore equity in cancer care for the Black community. I want to thank all of you for participating today, but I'm also going to challenge you. And when I do this challenge, I'm reminded of a astronomy professor that I had at the University of Texas, Merlin Smith. While I made a C in his class, it's amazing that I remember this one story. He talked about how he spent all of this time in his career looking through a telescope and understanding what stars look like and what made them appear certain colors and how they moved around the galaxy. But he admitted that his one regret was that he was standing from afar simply as an observer, and he wished that he had been engaged. You see, he really wanted to be an astronaut, but he backed off of that goal just to study astronomy. My challenge to you, and quite frankly to all of us, is not to be the astronomer. Be the astronaut. Strap your backside to a rocket and get engaged. Find a way to make a difference in this world. My second challenge to you is for you to identify what's the everyday cancer problem that you will help us fix today. You see, living with cancer is not easy at all, but it doesn't have to be that hard. It's the everyday problems like telling your loved ones or paying the bills. And those are problems that simply just don't deserve to exist. And settling for survival just isn't good enough anymore. It's time to change how we help people living with cancer. And Livestrong isn't just about hope. Our legacy is more than just a wristband. We're listeners, collaborators, and practical problem solvers, improving the everyday lives of anyone affected by cancer. We're finding new solutions with your help to the old problems that exist right now so that we can fix them for good. We're dedicated to disruptive, energetic, and breakthrough ideas to ensure that each and every person doesn't just survive, they live strong. Because if you're living with cancer, you deserve more than hope for a better tomorrow. You deserve a better today. Today, we have taken 7 steps forward. And while I know that there's going to be some backpedaling we all have to do in this healthcare world, I'm also confident that together, arm in arm, working together towards solutions, we can continue to make a difference in the lives of those affected by cancer. Thank you again for sacrificing your time and contributing your time and energy and your ideas to help us change the way the world fights cancer. Have a great day, and thank you very much for attending ICON Summit 2020.